So this is what we got. We got a cotton poly, a 300 thread count cotton poly sheet. It's been tie-dyed green and brown. It's queen size, and it's going to be used as a cover, a camping cover, like a camping tarp. And it's also going to be, it can also double as a cloak if you know what you're doing. So if you have a sheet that's waterproof, you can use it as a tarp and a cloak. Now I approach this really simply. I'm not going to do any add any tie downs onto this. I'm just going to use beads, like a small 1/2 inch bead, and use those as buttons. Just because I want to be able to just conserve my energy in making this. I don't really want to spend too much time on it. So I want it to be a quality sheet, quality waterproof sheet, but I don't want to do like a whole lot of sewing or stitching or anything like that. So we got a mixing stick here. It's just a wood dowel with some cable ties at the end. We got some gloves to protect our hands, and we got naphtha, 2 liters of naphtha, and 1 regular size tube of silicone. So the idea is we're going to dissolve the silicone in the 2 liters of naphtha. We're going to put plastic poly bag in the bucket. We're going to do all that dissolving activity in the poly bag. Then we're going to take the sheet. Once this silicone has been properly liquefied in the naphtha, we're going to take the sheet, we're going to bunch it up, and we're going to put it in the bag, and then we're going to agitate the sheet inside the bag. And then when we're satisfied that the sheet has saturated the material, the silicone, we're going to hang the sheet, hang it to dry overnight. It's a warm day, so it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, and so I think we're going to be all right. By the morning, it'll be nice and dry. So I poured a little bit of solvent in the bag, bottom corner of the bag. Just kind of agitating it, pressing on it, rubbing it around just to see if it's gonna melt the plastic. I don't think it's going to. This is a polyethylene bag. It's pretty chemical resistant. Seems all right. Yeah, it's good. It's good. This is a heavy-duty polyethylene drum liner. Just in case you're wondering what I'm going to be using here, I didn't want to get anything that was going to be melting. And polyethylene is, I think this is low molecular weight polyethylene. It's like a poly bottle, like a Nalgene bottle. Used a lot in lab chemistry. Pretty solvent resistant. Over here, we've got our hang line, and we've got a couple clips just to make sure the sheet doesn't slide off. Hang line's nice and tight, so even if the sheet's got a little bit of weight to it, it'll stay off the ground. And this is where we're going to dry our sheet over here. So step 1 is going to be to put the naphtha, the silicone, both liters of naphtha and the silicone in the bag, in the bucket, and then mix. So I think, you know, the mixing ratio is somewhat critical. Honestly, once the solvent evaporates, the silicone's going to be in the sheet. So you want enough solvent to get that silicone nice and liquidy enough to absorb into the sheet. Now I've seen people use 1 liter and 1.5 liters. I'm going to use 2 liters because I got a queen size sheet. 2 liters will be all right. So there's a lot of information on this online. A lot of information on this, so you can just go do some research. But 2 liters is where it's at, from what I've been able to tell. And the bucket's here just to make sure that if the bag breaks, I'm not going to get spooge all over the place. And I like to put my solvent in first and then put the silicone in. It seems to me to be a better way to dissolve the stuff. Okay, silicone's in the bag. You can see it down in there, just in the bottom of the bag. So what we're going to do, so we're going to put our drill in there, and we're just going to mix it up. Just, you know, gentle, nice and slow, so it doesn't slosh all over the place. Filter actions. It is pretty light liquid, so it's going to splash a little bit. So just go slow. Careful not to puncture your bag. Take it both directions. And then just look, it's going to be like kind of milky, just a little bit milky. Okay, let's check it out. It seems pretty good. It's a little chunky. I'm just going to agitate it with my hand a little bit now. So that wasn't more than about 5 minutes of mixing. So the clear bag is really useful because you can actually see through the bag. You can see the silicone in through the bag. And so I did do some additional mixing with my hand, another couple minutes. So 5 to 7 minutes of mixing is all you need. You know when it's ready because you're not going to see any clumps. So now we're going to put the sheet in and we're going to get it saturated. Okay, in goes the sheet. Just put it in there, bunched in. Okay. You're going to push it to the bottom. And you've got your gloves on. and you rub it up against the sides of the bag. You just knead it. You see color change. See a color difference. Rotate the sheet from top to bottom. And just get it soaked. Nice and soaked. Okay. You're going to pull it up, take a look at it, find the dry areas. Right. Grab different areas, pull it up, pull it apart. And it seems to be taking up that whole 2 liters pretty good. There's a little extra liquid in there. There's some dry areas there. Just get them soaked. And you're just going to do this process of turning it. Inspecting it. Turning it. And inspecting it. This is starting to look pretty good. But you got some time. You know, I've heard, you know, about 30 minutes to an hour. Could be longer. So you just pull it up. And if it's darkened, it's saturated, you know. So you just keep kneading it like that. In and out. Look for different areas. Of the sheet that might be dry. Just take your time. Pull it apart. You know, just be patient with yourself and bring the heavy wet areas up to the top, and then take your fist and just compact it again. You hear that sloshing? That's a good sign. Just keep working it. turn it, and then knead it some more. Really pretty straightforward, not too difficult. This is the heavy area from the bottom. Bring it to the top. You can still see there's plenty of good liquid in there. Probably about 5 or 10% extra liquid. Okay, this is the heavy part on the top. Just pull this out. Bring it back down. Knead it some more. You know, just do this for, I don't know, about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Pull it up. Get it separated out. Take a good look at it. Yeah, I mean, this is good and saturated. So, here's the trick. This is the rule. Just like with mixing epoxy. When you get to a point where you feel like it's good, go some more. You know? Just go another 5 minutes with it. Take a look at everything. I mean, this is nice and wet. Look at that. Nice and wet. That's what I like to see. Something's nice and wet. You know, you're taking all the material from the inside the bag and you're working it into the sheet. And then you're just inspecting it. Pull it up, shake it a little bit, push it down, grab the other edge here, pull it up, shake it a little bit, push it down, just keep an eye on it. Here, grab this edge, pull it up, shake it a little bit, and I'll have to demonstrate once this is dry the water resistancy of the cloth. I'm just kneading it. I mean, it's pretty much done. Pretty much done. You're turning it, pulling it up, and just kneading it, turning it, pulling it up. Oh yeah, it's nice and wet. The whole thing is nice and soaked, you know. And then getting the silicone into the fibers is the trick. You know, you don't just want it on the outside. You really want to hammer into this. And make sure that it's a really good, consistent product. And the trick is just to make sure it's mixed well before you start. You know, mix it. When you think it's mixed good, mix it some more. You know, 5 to 7 minutes of mixing, about 10 minutes of kneading, and you're good. Okay, we're gonna go hang this up. Okay, this is where we're at. We got it on the hang, and that 10 minutes was good. There was no dry areas in the sheet. It was just a matter of rolling the sheet and saturating it. That's all that was required. So, and it's a warm day, and it's breezy. It's warm and breezy. So this thing is evaporating pretty quickly. You can see this stuff is really in there nicely. This is super slippery. Stuff is in there really nice. So I'm just taking a look at it, keeping it spread out. It's a cool camo pattern, man. Looks like a drop cloth. In case you're wondering, just go YouTube what's called the scrunch method. Get yourself some green and brown RIT dye and a big queen size. This is a tan sheet. It's a queen size tan sheet. Give it a good wash in the washing machine. Then use the scrunch method. You basically scrunch the sheet up flat. On a flat table, you just scrunch it, so it's about 1 inch thick, 1 to 2 inches thick. Then you tie it flat in all different directions, and then you just squirt your RIT dye across it and let it sit for half an hour. I think I let it sit for about 45 minutes. And rinse it out, wash it. This is washed twice afterwards. And yeah, man, I mean, this is great for a forest woodland environment like this. That'll blend in really good. Tan, green, and brown. So I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit, making sure it's straightened out good. And now you can see the sheet starting to get dry. The solvent's starting to come out of it. It's only been hanging here for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And starting to dry up good. Mostly because it's a sunny, windy day. So all that silicone is in here, that entire tube. When that solvent dries out, what's going to be remaining is the silicone. And it's a good warm day, so it shouldn't be a problem getting dry. Yep. That's it. Tie-dye, woodland camo, queen size sheet. So let's just recap. We did 2-to-1 mixture. We made sure it was mixed really well until it was kind of like a light milky consistency. We used clear silicone and naphtha. 2 liters of naphtha, 1 tube of clear silicone. We used a polyethylene bag inside a bucket, and we used the do it more method. So when you mix it and you think it's mixed well enough, mix it some more. And then when you're saturating your sheet, you think it's saturated well enough, saturate it some more. The mixing took about 5 minutes using a drill on low speed. And then I did pull the bag out of the bucket, and there were areas in the bag where I needed it some more. So add another 5 minutes, 5 minutes of drill mixing, 5 minutes of bag kneading. And then the saturation method took about 5 minutes till it got to that point where I thought it was pretty good. And then I did it some more. Just saturated it some more. So you can see here, it's starting to dry up real good already. It's gone from like wet to damp on like a 70-75 degree day with a breeze. I think that's really critical. You can see the breeze. Breeze is very helpful. Warm 75 degree day, a breeze, right? This is May in the western woodlands, the arid, dry western woodlands. So it's a good environment to do this. Yeah. And I think, you just take some time with it and just play with it a little bit. Grab your corners and just kind of give it a good wave here and there. I mean, it's really starting to dry out now. It's starting to dry out real good. Keep it straight. Just pull on it, keep it straight. So that's about it. I'm you know as well as I do, if you've done a little bit of research, this is going to be pretty darn waterproof, water resistant. It's fully saturated with a full tube of silicone. I mean, it's impregnated. That's the proper word. The fibers are impregnated. Just fully soaked, and there was no silicone left in the bag when we got done. It's all in the sheet, so I think it's going to be pretty good. Look at that. Good piece of sunshine. So that's it. That's our sheet. Silicone saturated. And just wanted to show you how I did it. It was actually very straightforward. Definitely recommend do some research. Pick a good day, good windy day. Use naphtha, okay? I've heard 3 things. You can use white gas, you can use mineral spirits, and you can use naphtha. So what I would do is use naphtha. I've heard a lot of good things about naphtha. It seems to work really well. And I've also heard that the Coleman fuel, the white gas, works well. But I would use naphtha. That's the number one recommended solvent for this job. So thanks for hanging out, and I hope this is useful to you, and I wish you the best. Stay free, live free, die hard. This is the Owl signing out. So here's something cool. It's been like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and the solvent, the naphtha, is gone. I mean, you can't smell it. You can't smell it at all. So the sheet appears to be like dry. Like, you can tell it's got the silicone in it. But when I touch it with my hands, none of that material really is coming off. It's staying in the sheet. So let's take a look. So it's dry. There's no solvent smell. It's been about 20-25 minutes. No solvent smell. I think that the silicone is still going to need to cure. Like, I'm going to leave it on here overnight for sure and just let it cure up. But it's not wet anymore. And it's a little darkened. It's a little bit darker than it was before. But you can see how well that's going to blend in with this woodlands area. But I mean, you can just see the solvent's evaporated. There's no smell. And the cloth feels dry, and there's no residue coming off on my hand. So that's pretty cool. So you know it's impregnated because all the material went in to it and the solvent evaporated from it. And I think it just needs to cure. It's just gonna, just let it cure. Certainly let it hang overnight. Let it hang for a while, a good long while. And then you can take it off, fold it up, put it away. But yeah, good deal. Good deal. So, this is the Owl signing off. Good luck with your project.